Welcome to Fireside Yankees. My name is Alex, with my co-host here, Nick Nielsen. You're listening to Fireside Yankees. And guys, today, Joey Gallo. Is he hated? Is he loved? I have no idea. A lot of people hate him. Good reason. Guy can hit the ball, batting average below 200 the last 3 years. But when you look at how he hits the ball and how hard he hits the ball, something to like there. And, you know, if you listen to the minor league coaches, the major league coaches for the Yankees, they say hit strikes hard. And Joey Gallo hits strikes hard. He doesn't do anything else very well. He's actually a decent defender. He dropped the ball yesterday.
Good defender. Come on, Alex. Give him some credit. And he sees pitches. He works a lot of walks.
13% walk. He has some credit. I'll give him some credit for those three things. Good defender. He dropped the ball yesterday, which was not good, but he got out of it.
But he's a three-tool. He's a three-tool player.
He's a three-tool player. You know, he dropped the ball, but usually he's pretty safe as an outfielder. He hits the ball hard, and he gets some decent walks. Now, he also knows how much people hate his style of play. He knows he's not a contact hitter. He knows people hate him. He hears how much boos he gets in the Yankee Stadium. You know, I have a couple quotes that I'll read you guys in a minute here. But Nick, you know, before we dive into Joey Gallo, how you doing tonight, my friend? And you know, what do you think about this Yankees team? Another win yesterday.
I'm doing really well, and I'm doing even better after seeing Josh Donaldson hit another home run yesterday. I mean, he was on one yesterday. Before the game, we posted a little post on Twitter about Josh Donaldson in the 2 spot.
Nailed it.
Last year with the Twins. He was pretty good. And I said, look out. He's going to do something today. Went 3 for 4 with a home run and a walk. So I'll take that. And that's now 4 games in a row where Josh Donaldson has been integral, or not 4 games in a row, 4 games out of the last 5, where he's been integral to sending the team's fans home early. He did it 3 times against, he helped contribute 3 times against Chicago, twice with the home run, then once where he worked the walk, and then the next guy hit a home run. And then yesterday he did it again with the home run. So I'm loving the team, loving everyone's playing. Gallo, it's so hard. It's a love-hate relationship, and I feel like he is the most bipolar in terms of, the fans are the most bipolar towards Joey Gallo out of every player on this entire roster. I feel like Gallo is the guy that goes out there and hits like a home run and everyone loves him and gets cheers. And then the next time he strikes out and is right back to the boos. So he's an interesting player to look at. So I'm excited to talk. I'm doing really well. I'm just more excited for Yankees baseball tonight. Like at this point, like I'm just waiting for the day to go by as more games go on. Cause it's like, I want to watch this team play. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if you lose, it's like, all right, this can be a competitive loss. There is no rolling over with this team. So I don't know. It's just, it's a great time to be a Yankees fan. Great time to be a baseball fan. Yeah. And also yesterday you mentioned that we're going to be having some new Mets counterparts join us. So I did want to mention real quickly that thoughts and prayers and everything are with Starling Marte during this time. Of course, he was placed on the bereavement list because of his grandmother's passing. So I do wish him all the best in the world. And for the Mets fans that are like wondering where Marte is and why he's not playing, now you know. So make sure to be thinking of Marte during this tough time for him. Great player, great guy as well. So over to you, Alex. Sorry for the little down moment.
No. Sending love to Marte and his family, of course. And, you know, ultimately, you know, for the Yankees tonight, they're coming off a game where Jose Trevino hit a 3-game homer and a 3-run homer. When Jose Trevino is hitting homers and hitting dingers,
it was the wildest pitch.
It was a high fastball.
It was like a 107 expected batting average.
Roped it to freaking hit the right field pole. Yeah, when Jose Trevino's hitting homers, you know things are going well for you. So I think we can come to the conclusion the Yankees are doing quite well. Now, Joey Gallo, he's also been better. This month, he's hitting over 200. Praise the Lord. He's hitting over 200.
Really well. Isn't he like 240 this month? 255 or something?
I think now. 226. Because he struck out 4 times yesterday. So
yes, that's right. That's
right. That'll bring it down for you.
We'll take it because for Gallo, we don't need him to be batting 275, 285.
We don't.
You know, his style of player, I've learned to deal with it because as long as he's no longer batting in like the 4 hole or the 5 spot, which the Yankees have now learned to not do, I'm fine with Joey Gallo on this team because now we have so many other players that are like good and can hit the ball all around really well, that I'm fine having a guy like Joey Gallo because he and IKF's just the polar opposite of Gallo. So it's like having those 2 guys basically form out to one really good hitter. I don't know. That's just my magic.
No.
My logic. My logic.
It makes sense. The logic makes sense. You know, Joey Gallo's a really, really interesting player, right? Because the management loves him. They continue to give him opportunities even when he's struggling. But over the last 8 seasons, really, of his career, Joey Gallo has recorded a career high of .253 batting average back in 2019 when the baseball was completely juiced.
And he also got injured that year, so he missed a lot of time.
He played 70 games, actually, which was like the whole 2019 season, am I right? Or 2020 season, rather, was the abbreviated one. So 2019 season,
so he missed half the year. Games. But that was
missed half the year.
That was when everyone's like, "Oh shit, Joey Gallo, maybe he finally did it. Maybe he's like a good like a good hitter, contact hitter now." And then, just kidding.
Yeah, that was never going to happen. But when you look at Joey Gallo, recently, right? So he hasn't cracked over 200 in the last 3 seasons. He was at what 0.199 last year or something like that.
Just under.
He's definitely not the best when it comes to hitting contact, but he is the weirdest player because his numbers look good when it comes to hitting the ball, and I'll kind of dive into that right now. So in terms of these 3 categories, max exit velocity, hard hit percentage, barrel percentage,
3 of the Yankees' favorite stats. 4 of the Yankees' favorite stats.
Those are 4. He's in the 90th percentile or better in all 4 of those. Interesting. He's only in the 65th percentile on average exit velocity this year. And interestingly enough, right, his homers are a little bit down. He's not really getting the elevation to get those balls over the fence. And the reason for that is because his launch angle is down pretty significantly. His launch angle is down to 16.8 degrees this year from 22.7 degrees last year.
Consistently low 20s.
Right. He's low 20s. Now he's in the 17 range. But you know what I found that was really interesting that kind of made me realize why that launch angle might be down a little bit? Because pitchers aren't throwing fastballs as much to him anymore. They're throwing a lot of curveballs and breaking balls to him. Yeah. I found that to be really, really interesting. Because with a player like him, you're trying to catch him off speed. He's not a bad fastball hitter by any means.
No, he's a very good fastball hitter.
Yeah. He's a good fastball hitter. So 55.5% of pitches thrown to him in 2021 were fastball variations, right? So this year it's dropped to 49%. So you're seeing like a 6.5% decrease in fastball.
That's big in the grand scheme.
That's a big difference.
That's like fastball cutters, two seams.
Yep.
That's interesting. And it's because that's how Gallo is, though. Like for his, when you look at his swing, it is very reminiscent of someone like Chris Davis, where it's a massive uppercut. And when it's high, he's got such quick hands that he just mashes shit high and inside. And that's why a lot of pitchers don't like to throw high and inside to Gallo. And instead, now that you mentioned it, are starting to throw more breaking stuff, more off speed, a lot of stuff low and away. And then Gallo, a lot of the time, because he's trying to be so patient and he knows he can't slap the ball anywhere on the field, he takes those pitches and sometimes it leads to full counts, strikeout looking like there was the other day, full counts swinging at a bad one or something like that. So it's so hard to like critique Gallo because, like you said, you look at his like peripherals and some of his underlying numbers, and they all check the boxes of what the Yankees analytic department loves. So it's like it makes sense that he's there, and he plays a good left field. But recently, not recently, literally the game like yesterday when he dropped that fly ball, I was like, "You're kidding me." However, the only break I give him on that is that Camden Yards' left field now sucks. And every left fielder that's played there has struggled heavily adjusting to the new dimensions, and no one hits home runs. So basically, it's a lose-lose situation in Camden. But for Gallo, it's so weird because the other thing that's interesting is that his whiff percentage this year is, I believe, let me pull this up. I want to make sure I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so his whiff percentage is the 3rd highest in baseball. To go with a 38% K rate. The only 2 players that have higher whiff percentages, I forget who one of them is. The other one's Javier Baez. So that should say something. However, his called strikes plus whiff percentage is only 30%, which is marginally the lowest of his entire career. So it's like when he's taking pitches, he's got one of the best eyes in baseball. But when he swings and doesn't like think of, and like doesn't know what pitch is coming or is sitting something else, he just swings over it or completely under it and misses it entirely. So he's such a weird player, man, because I root for Joey Gallo because he is a fun guy to watch. And I know everyone in the clubhouse loves him, but there are times when it's like, Joey, when you step up to the plate, you are actively hurting the team during your slump. So it's like he's such a double-edged sword. And I want him just to be like a solid blade where it's like, I know what I'm getting with him, like with Judge. And you have a great quote from Gallo as well that you're going to share with the people here in a minute that I thought was really interesting. As I mentioned, comparing him with Judge. But Gallo isn't going to be Aaron Judge. He isn't going to be the guy that's going to go up there and bat 300 consistently over the season. He's going to have 5-6 games where he bats 340 with 5 home runs. And then he's going to have 10, 11 games where he gets 1 hit. So it's like you got to live with the highs and the lows, the peaks and the valleys. I like Gallo as a baseball player because, again, anytime you can hit 40 home runs, that's awesome. Like, even if he's like Dave Kingman, fine by me. That's awesome because Dave Kingman's a great baseball player. So I don't know. I guess I'm not as hard on Gallo as a lot of Yankees fans are because I do know that he was once like such a highly touted prospect that the potential has always been there. But at this point, I think what we have with Gallo is what we're going to get. And especially with the shift being banned next year, if we retain Gallo and extend him, that's going to be huge. Like his average will probably go up by 20 or 30 points because of having no shift. So I don't know, man. That's just my little spiel on Gallo there. Like this quote that you had that you tell me about earlier is very interesting to me, considering how he's responded to the boos and everything. Mm-hmm. He takes a very different approach to Stanton because Stanton, we talk about how he doesn't say anything and he's just like, who cares? I know I'm good. Yeah. But Gallo, I feel like it does kind of get under his skin a little bit.
It does get to under his skin, and I'll tell you what he said, right? So via Randy Miller of NJ.com spoke to Gallo, and he said basically this is what happens all the time when you're slumping. I wish I was DJ LeMahieu. I don't get how he hits the ball so much. A lot of times I wish I was a contact hitter, but I am playing the hand that I was dealt. So clearly, you know, he's trying to take advantage of his strength. He said, I have to find value because I'm not able to get more hits. I had to work on my walk rate and take more pitches. Defensively, I knew I had to improve too because I don't want to be just a slugger. So he's walking about 13.8% this year.
Which is low for him, I will say.
It's low for him. He was walking 18% last year.
Yeah,
so
he had the highest walk rate and highest strikeout percentage in baseball last year.
Right.
Like,
that's what Joey does. 35%, you know, so that was pretty solid. Insane. This year it's 30%. You know, he still gets on base, right? He walks and he's a slugger. So like those are his two main things. He definitely feels it though. He says it sucks to hear, but I was like, I know I'm hitting the ball well. There are different ways to look at it. Sometimes it might look on paper like you're struggling, and the advanced metrics will tell you that you're hitting the ball really, really well and that you should be rewarded. And that's the thing about him, right? He hits the ball well. What the thing is, pitchers this year are doing something a little bit more interesting. He hits strikes a lot, right? He hits strikes a lot. But what is the point of a breaking ball? The point of a breaking ball
fall out of the zone
is to make it look like it's going to be a strike, but to fall out of the zone. Those pitches end up falling out of the zone, and he's swinging more at those.
Yeah,
right. He's swinging more at those,
time.
And that's why pitchers are throwing the fastball less because fastballs are more likely going to be a strike than a breaking ball. So if you're throwing that strike at Gallo and you say, okay, wait, what if we just take 6-7% off of that strike and put it towards breaking balls that are going out of the zone, dipping out of the zone? He is going to swing at those because it looks like strikes to him. He doesn't have the best eye.
He has a good. He has a high chase percentage as well.
He has a high chase percentage.
He's not one of those guys that's. It's so. I hate it because
striking out almost 40% this year.
I know, and I hate it because it's like this. I think that number is going to come down like 3 or 4%. That's the thing. Like I think 38% is unreasonably high. So I think it's going to come down to 33%. Like I do think he's going to strike out less, but at the same time, 33% is still a third of the at bats, and that's a lot. I'm one of those guys that understands and gets, hey, if you have a runner on first, I'd much rather the guy strike out than ground out because there's no chance at a double play if you strike out. So I'm fine with strikeouts compared to ground outs and not making contact. But it just, it does get to a point where, like you mentioned, he sees pitches, but now pitchers have kind of figured out how to pitch to Gallo to get him to either like make a mistake or sit on something or change his approach, because now you see pitchers just throw immediate first pitch strikes to Gallo every time because he usually 90% of the time takes the first pitch because he wants to see pitches. And they've started to do it there in Hicks as well, where if you throw 1 or 2 pitches like down the middle, they're going to be forced to swing at the next pitch or the pitch after that. So I've seen a lot of times this year Joey end up in 1-2, 0-2 counts. I feel like more than I did, or at a higher rate than I did last season. So that's the one thing I am a little bit worried about. And that's why his walk percentage is down and his strikeout percentage is up, because he's working the count still, but he's getting behind so early that even for a guy that's as poised at the plate in terms of the eye as Joey Gallo is, he has to swing at bad pitches more. Like it's one of the biggest problems that this Yankees team has right now is that we don't know what version of Joey Gallo we're going to get come the most important time of the season, come October. And that's what scares me about Joey Gallo. Is that it's not like Stanton or Judge where these guys are going to show up. Donaldson even. It's like Joey Gallo, we don't know what version of him we're going to get. Is it going to be him slumping at the end of the regular season, coming in and then switching it and hitting the cover off the ball? Or is it going to be like we saw last year where he's literally an automatic out in the lineup? And that's one thing I hate. He's Jekyll and Hyde. He's the Jekyll and Hyde of the Yankees.
Yep. I mean, and look, when he's on, though, he's a very essential piece to this lineup, and he offers incredible power. In the
only Judge and G hit the ball harder than him when he's on.
Right. You know, when he's on, he's a big time player. He's a great defender. He can play every outfield spot. That is super valuable.
Yeah.
And he's an everyday player. The guy doesn't miss time very often in terms of since we've gotten him. He doesn't get injured. He's pretty available. Maybe a fatigue day every now and then.
Yeah, but he had that hammy for like 4 days earlier in the year, and that was
yeah. Okay, and then he's back. Right, he had the hammy, but he was like, I'm totally fine. It was more cautionary, and then he was back, and he was fine. So like, what they're doing behind the scenes for the health, it's
Cressy deserves a round of applause.
Cressy deserves a freaking Nobel Peace Prize for what he's done on that in the back end of this team. Yeah, seriously. But you know, Gallo, while polarizing, offers a lot of value. You know, when he's on. His defense is usually pretty good, even when he's struggling in the batter's box. He walks a lot, and when the Yankees are playing this well that they can supplement some deficiencies, he just needs to see the ball more. You know, how often have we seen Stanton, Judge, you know, starting to kill it like they are right now?
Donaldson,
and then they get injured and they have to reset the whole thing, and they're out for 2-3 weeks, a month, and then suddenly they're like, we have to readjust ourselves to seeing the ball. We lost all of that momentum. If you can stay healthy for that whole season, the momentum, like the ball slows down. The ball slows down. It's like practicing anything. It just gets easier over time. So personally, I kind of like, I want him to stay healthy. I think the Yankees giving him more reps. They're like, it might take him a little bit longer than Judge and Stanton because they're on another level.
True.
But ultimately, if we can get him to the point where he's hitting over 200, he's hitting homers, he's doing his thing, he's getting on base with his walks, and maybe
playing good defense,
17%, playing good defense. He's a contributing factor to this team, and he's doing a good job at what we're asking him to do, and he's fitting this mold, right? They have a mold carved out for him. So you know, they knew what they were getting when he came here, right? They knew they were getting a guy that wasn't.
No one's surprised by this on the Yankees.
Not surprising,
and I don't know why fans are surprised by this as well. Because you knew what Joey Gallo is. He's been the same type of player for his entire career. Even when he was in high school playing baseball in Vegas, he was massive. He had to become the player he is today. Then, because when you're that big, no one expects you to be a contact hitter and slap the ball around for infield singles. No one expects you to steal bases and play Gold Glove defense. But Gallo, he's like, I was huge as a kid, and now I'm huge as a player. So I'm going to try to do everything I can to maximize that gift, that curse, whatever he wants to call it. As he said, he was dealt the hand he was. But he's making the most of it. Like, he is a very good defensive player. He does see a lot of pitches. He works a lot of walks. And when he hits the baseball very hard. So I guess to kind of end this episode, I'm going to give my thoughts on this, and I want to know your thoughts as well. Should the Yankees extend Joey Gallo? Because Aaron Judge is the obvious clear-cut main priority. But if we get him done and there's money left over, because there are contracts coming off the books, should we look at extending Gallo? Because he's a good player. He seems to fit in well with the clubhouse and the culture of the team, even if the fans boo him a ton. It's a coin toss for me. So that's why I'm asking what your thoughts are.
Ah, man, my thoughts on extending Joey Gallo. Well, I have to say, I don't know if I want to extend Joey Gallo. I think that it depends on the price.
Yeah, let's say 5 for 75, 5 for 80, or let's do 4 for 80. Let's say Gallo takes $20 million a year, 4 for 80.
I'm not keeping for $20 million a year.
Okay,
no way.
All right.
No way. Gotcha. $20 million is, look, we have to pay Judge, man. There's no way we can.
That's my point. Like, this is all after Judge. This is my point. Like, after Judge is done, because that's the main priority. Do we look to extending Gallo, or do we allocate those funds elsewhere and try to keep on
Florial's killing it right now in
Monty? Yeah, Florial's killing it.
Maybe time to give him a chance.
And maybe, like, this is the thing. There's so many things to do with this team now, and so many different pieces to fit into this massive puzzle that leads to creating another dynasty, that this year's success is very, very important to that. If the Yankees win it all this year, other players are going to want to come play in New York more than they had in the past, because we had a decade-long drought without a championship. They're going to want to come play for a team that has a winning culture, invests in their franchise players like Judge, like Cole. I want to see them do it with Montgomery. Those are all big things. And I think Gallo, I hate to say it because I agree with you. I love Gallo as a player, but I just don't know how he fits into their plans long term. Like, where would we keep where would we find this money for Gallo if there are other options available? If we do want to promote from within the organization, if we do end up trading Hicks for players, we're going to have to look for a center fielder as well. So maybe we move Gallo to center. Like, there are just so many things to look toward down the road that I think it's hard to see Joey Gallo being a Yankee beyond 2022, 2023.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's at a certain point, we're going to get to a point where, like, Florial, they're going to have to give him a shot, or they're going to trade. They're going to have to trade him. He's 24 years old. He's hitting .270 right now with a 36.5% on base percentage.
That's huge.
3 homers. He's not a power hitter, right? Like, he's never been. They have to make the decision, like, do they want to, like, Hicks literally isn't a power hitter either. He's more of a contact walk guy.
No, yeah.
And this year, Hicks is walking at 13%, or rather, I'm sorry, Florial's walking at 13%. If he can get that number up a little bit, maybe to 15, 16%, he already has a 36% on base percentage right now. Like, maybe like he just needs to see more reps after this season. I think the Yankees give him a chance at the big league level and see if he can hold on. If he can, they'll trade him. But they gotta start. They gotta commit to their youth at some point.
Getting to that point,
wait a little bit too long sometimes. Like, they wait too long, and like, with Oswaldo Peraza, like, he's another guy that should be the backup shortstop right now. You know what I mean? Like, you can make the argument he should be the backup shortstop behind IKF. IKF has struggled defensively this season.
That's the thing. Like, we got him for his defense, and he's literally been 0 outs above average, 0 defensive runs saved. He's been just a neutral defender. And
yeah, it's okay. It's better.
But no, that's the thing. Like, we've got him to be a positive plus defender, not to be a neutral, literal average defender.
Right.
Like, luckily for him, Donaldson is carrying that side of the infield. He's got like 7 defensive runs saved, or outs above average. Sorry. He is insane this year. He's been playing phenomenal third base defense. But with IKF, we brought him in to play great defense and to slap the ball around occasionally. While he's slapping the ball around a bit, the defense has not been what we were expecting it to be from him. And I'm an IKF defender. Ryan Garcia loves Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, but his defense has not been what we were expecting as of now. He's had the yips a bit. He's looked kind of like Glaber a lot of the time at shortstop. And it's getting to the point where it's like, all right, Isaiah, you have probably another month or two of, if you don't play above average defense, we're going to have to look at internal options. And I hate to say it because it's not like he's been bad. He's been a pretty good player. He's got like 0.5 F4 in the season, 0.6. He's been contributive. But for what we got him for and what was expected, I don't know if he's meeting those expectations. And that's why it's like you said, you got to look at the youth. And Peraza, you got Volpe, who, granted, Volpe I still think is another year or two away. But you got Peraza, Volpe, you got a couple of guys.
Young, man.
He's 23, 21.
21.
Yeah. That's crazy. The whole farm system's like talented and young now. And not just on the pitching side with like Waldchuk, and he just got promoted, and Wesneski, who's very good.
Waldchuk looks awesome, man. He's gonna replace. Well, I don't want to say replace, but if Jordan. So okay, this is what I wrote about him today. He's not gonna replace, but he will supplement. If Jordan Montgomery gets injured, I would not be surprised if they called on him to be their lefty starter for a game.
I like that. I like it. The lefty brings a lot of value for him.
A lot of value. He has no experience at AAA, so that's not happening anytime soon. But I think second half of the season, he's got 4 or 5 games under his belt. AAA, he's looking good. If Jordan Montgomery went down for whatever reason, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him a shot.
And who knows? Because
all I gotta say,
pitching depth's super important. So maybe
I don't trust Luis Gil, or at least Heel right now.
His control. He needs to get back.
I don't trust Davey Garcia.
No, Davey. I'm getting kind of worried about Davey at this point. It's getting to the point where he had that one really good breakout season, and since then it's just been literal aggression every year. So I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm very worried about Davey. I don't know if he's ever going to crack the major league roster for like be contributive.
Bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Bad this year. 9.1.
Luis Medina also struggling with his control. Like all of our guys have filthy stuff and can be elite level arms, whether in the bullpen or in the starting rotation. Just no control and confidence. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it's so crazy for me to think though that this Yankees farm is, in my opinion, a top 12 farm in baseball again. And a couple years ago, it looked like we were kind of falling behind the pack a little bit with a lot of the development. And now it's like, thanks to the pitching, a lot of the guys in the pitching prospect farm side of it, it's really boosted our farm. And that helps a ton, because when you want to trade for competitive, contributive ball players come the deadline, when you need to make moves to boost your team's chances, those young prospects go a long way. And like we talked about, if it comes down to trading a good prospect, 2 good prospects for a great player, you should do that trade if you're in a position to win. If a player can help you win games now and next year and the year after that, why not invest in that player that's proven than take a gamble on a couple of 21, 22-year-old prospects that could be very good. So I don't know, man. This team is so interesting to follow because you have players like Joey Gallo and you got IKF that are there for specific roles, a lot of personalities. Mm-hmm. And then you have like your like bona fide superstars like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, aces, Garrett Cole.
Nasty
Nestor. Dare I say Donaldson even as well, because Donaldson's career, he's an all-star MVP. The dude's I think a 4-time all-star MVP, Gold Glover, Silver Slugger. The list goes on.
He's rejuvenating his game right now, man. He looks like he's definitely came back a lot. You know, he's really putting it all on the field this year and trying to help his team win a championship.
Tim Anderson decided to chirp him. If Tim Anderson hadn't have chirped him, none of this would have happened. He woke the beast, dude. This is like when when Lord of the Rings, when they traveled to the mines of Moria. And they're like, and Pip knocks off such a good movie, dude. And Pip knocks the skeleton down. And then the Balrog awakes, and it's like, oh, Lord, run. And then that's what happened right now with Donaldson. Donaldson's the Balrog right now. He's been awakened, and he's just going to cause problems for everyone. And I'm here for it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm here for it too. And hopefully Gallo can continue to play a lot better. You know, he's hitting .226 this month, and you know, just get a little bit better, get on base a little bit more, walk a little bit more, take more pitches, lay off those breaking balls they're trying to get you on. And you know, hopefully his defense, you know, remains good. You know, yesterday had the drop ball, but that usually doesn't happen with him.
And a 151 WRC plus this month.
That's really he's killing it, man. He's killing it.
He's got a higher hard hit percentage than Bryce Harper on the year. That's crazy.
Gallo has those advanced metrics tell a different story than the face value and like the basic
stat nerds love it.
Well, even like the basic stats show one thing and the advanced stats show another thing. And if anything that we're looking at right now, Brian Cashman definitely has built a team that is focused on advanced analytics and it's working out right now. So maybe we should take his word for it at the moment, guys. But hope you enjoyed this video, taking a look at Joey Gallo, his offerings, what he's looking like this far in the season, how well he's played recently, but the polarizing nature of his game and how his cold streaks are ice barren tundra cold and his hot streaks are like, you know, you're in hell. You're in hell and you're standing next to him holding the bat. So he's, you know, right now he's doing well. Hopefully he can continue doing that, keep getting some momentum, and those sluggers in sync are a dangerous group, my friends. A dangerous
row, dude.
Murderers row. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe below. Always happy to hear from you guys in the comments and your opinions on these players. Gallo, the farm system. If you think Florial will end up being a starter at the big league level for the Yankees, wonder he should be traded, or if IKF should be replaced at shortstop, maybe if he continues to struggle defensively. Personally, I don't think so, but I'd love to hear your opinions. Nonetheless, a lot of points, a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. Daily content. We got you guys covered and everything. Don't worry about it. And we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees podcast.